Hey everybody, Joel, Moose Droppings by ImportSauce.com. Today we are going to do a power bleed on our clutch line with the Motiv power pressure bleeder. So stick around, we'll show you, this is our first time using it, what we do and how it works out. As part of our engine rebuild, we do have to bleed our clutch line, right? Because the tranny came out, all those connections got disconnected, which essentially is on the bottom of the reservoir. We see that little tube there. It goes all the way down into the clutch pedal. And from the clutch pedal, it comes down, wraps around, connects there into a rubber line, goes all the way down, and comes all the way, you can see, let's see, right there, snaps into the top of the slave connection. We already have our tube set up there on the bleeder, but this line is essentially bone dry. So what we have is the Motiv products, the power bleeder here. So a buddy let us borrow this, and we wanted to go ahead and give it a shot because last time we did the M66 swap, just opening that little bleeder and having somebody in there, okay, pump the pedal, hold it while I open it, and it just takes a very, very long time. So we're going to try this out. In terms of prep, the system has been cleaned out. Everything's nice and ready to go. Right now we did a PSI check. It's been holding exactly where we pumped it at about 20 minutes ago. They say pump it up to about 10. Make sure that everything is holding. And then we have our hose hooked up and our collection. Typically you would stick that underneath and just let gravity kind of help out with the bleed, but because the hose is sealed on there, and because we had an oil explosion and the entire engine is covered in super clean and getting pressure washed anyways, we're not too worried about any drips or drops, and it'll be easier than jacking up and trying to get under the dang car. So essentially we've cleaned the system. We have pressure checked for leaks. Everything is looking good there. Our master is topped off at the max level, and then we have brand new, we're going to pour this whole thing in, and essentially what you do is you pump this thing up to what the manufacturer recommends on the vehicle. We're going to pump it up to 20 psi, which seems to be the safe spot that everyone's using, especially for that. And because we're not doing the brakes, we're not anticipating much fluid that's going to have to be used, because essentially it just has to fill this little line here, which is to the pedal, you know, maybe a foot, and then maybe 2 feet of line, and it's super thin line, so we should be good with what we have here. But we're going to pump it, and then once it is pressurized, we will open up the bleeder there with an 11 millimeter. Be careful on the M66 swap. We had to get a replacement for that because it's a plastic bleeder, and you're opening and closing it, and the plastic is just, you know, an 11 is not a true 11. You know, there's some room in it. It just, we stripped one out. It became a big old hassle. So be mindful of that. Be gentle with it. This one is brand new from the M66 swap, so it's not all gunky and caked on and you know, seized up, so it should be able to flow pretty easily. So the next thing we're doing is we're just going to fill all of this into here and then pump it up to 20 psi, open that bleeder, and then we'll bring you back and kind of show you what's going on. Okay, we are up to 20 about 18 psi. The line, all the fluid is worked into the line, so we're just going to go ahead and open up our bleeder with the 11, and hopefully we should just see fluid start to go. Okay, we let that flow for a while. We checked the oil thing. It's crooked, but there's a decent amount, maybe about sixth of a quart. Everything was still coming through. We actually only went down to 15 psi, so 5 psi loss. Or I guess it took 5 psi of pressure really to get that through. So what we're going to do now is the line is closed. We're going to slowly open the cap on this unit and slowly release that pressure. We don't want to do it off the master because we don't need that air and that fluid kind of bouncing around and possibly introducing any air bubbles or anything up in there. So we're going to slowly release pressure on this, and then we'll put our cap back on the master, and then we're going to go check and feel how the pedal feels. Pressure is released from here. I checked in there, and we were still exactly where we were supposed to be there on the max line. Can't really see the fluid because it's like clearish yellow. And then I checked the pedal. It just seemed way too easy compared to how much work it normally takes to do this. But let's, I mean, it's there, man. You know, so you know, we won't know until we're driving, but I mean, that's the normal clutch play that we are accustomed to. And I'll show you in a second. I'll pull off the drain tube and I'll show you how much fluid we actually passed through the system there. Everything buttoned back up, and we can see just over a quarter of either a liter or a quart, both same thing. And can't really tell. Let's see. That fluid is nice and clear. I mean, minus the little particulates that came through on the first little batch. Obviously, we're not going to save this. I'm going to cap it and dispose of it, but I'd have to say that is probably the best product ever. I'm very excited because we do have the whole Franken brake 302 millimeter rear brake set going in, as well as the Elevate spec Willwood 4-piston 300 millimeters going in the front, all new stainless steel braided lines, and that tool right there is really going to be, man, it's going to make doing the brakes easy, and you know, it's going to be nice. I'm going to buy a ton of fluid and just really make sure that all the lines, all the fluid is brand new throughout the system. So definitely highly recommend this, because it turns what is a terrible two-person job into one of the simplest one-person jobs that you can do. So check it out.